I believe we are live.
Hope we are anyway.
Yeah, okay. Looks like we are. Looks like we are in any case. Okay, well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Medieval Buzz with Rachel from the Creative Contessa and Philip from Irish Medieval History. And there is quite a bit of buzz going on in the medieval history slash living history world. So we're excited to get into that with you all
Mm.
today. Now, Philip, how are you doing on this beautiful here? It's actually a lovely rainy, spring rainy morning, which I love.
It's actually really, really sunny here over in Okinawa this morning. Can you hear me? Can you?
Yeah, yeah, I can.
Happy
You
days.
are you
No,
you are there.
it's really nice over in Okinawa today, which is great because it's the raining season in Okinawa now. But for the last 2 days, it's been super shiny. Yay, Philip episode. Thanks. At least someone's happy
Ayla.
enough to see me anyway. Can you hear me fine? Can you?
Yeah, yeah, you're
In the
golden.
comment section. That's good. Um, as long as everyone can hear me on the comment section, that's the main thing. All right, but yeah, it's super nice here in Okinawa this morning. Very very sunny, which is always great to see. Myself and the wife had a nice little meal on the Wednesday. I was supposed to be live on Wednesday, but my wife was off, which was great for me because she's under the old Japanese working hours of endless working hours and stuff. So
Yeah.
while she had her day off, I was just like, okay, Rachel, good luck. Bye
And
bye.
I was happy to let you have that because Yuki works crazy, ridiculous hours.
Oh,
Everyone, don't
stop.
move to Japan and work for a Japanese company. Your
Yeah.
life will be hell. It
Do
will be
not.
pure hell.
Do
It will
not.
be hell.
And it's crazy because when a foreign, normally, if like a foreigner comes in here, and you could agree with this one as well, Rachel, because you're over in Korea. Normally, when an outsider comes in, they kind of just don't understand how something works. And they always say something, and it's like, well, you're just kind of ignorant. That's kind of your problem. But when it comes down to working in Japan, no way. If you say something bad about working in Japan, people will join in with the conversation and agree with you. Do you know, it's one of those few times
Yeah.
because there's so many examples I can think of where a foreign, and you could probably think of the same thing as well with Korea, where a foreigner will come in and say, "Oh, A, B, and C is terrible," and I'm just thinking to
Yeah.
myself, "No, you're just ignorant to the topic." But when it
Right.
comes down to working hours, even yesterday, I was listening to a woman. She's from the United States. She lived in Tokyo for 4 years and she's married to a Japanese man. And she was ranting for a good 20 minutes on YouTube. And I went into the comment section, and normally, the comment section will have
It's
people
a dumpster
disagreeing with them.
fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But not when it comes down to work. What was it called? Every single comment, even from radical Japanese people, were like bitching about how bad the working hours are in Japan. It is horrendous.
Right.
Oh, and the problem is, yeah, the problem with Yuki's work hours. Oh my god, they're just so unorganized and stuff. It's dreadful. But I'll push on forward anyway. I could literally bitch about it all day. The
Yeah.
working hours in Japan.
I mean, it's so bad here in Korea also that a
Mhm.
lot of people have decided to open cafes instead
Oh,
of getting a traditional job,
yeah,
an office job,
yeah.
because the work is the slot. It's so many it's long hours. You're expected his traditionally here in Korea, you're expected to do a lot of office socializing. So you're supposed to go out for dinner and drinks afterwards. You know, you're expected to work above and beyond what you're
Mm,
actually contracted to. And
mm.
so a lot of people instead thought to themselves, erroneously by the way, well, I'll just open a cafe. Won't that be easier? Then I have my own boss, I can make my own hours. But basically what that has led to is an absolute surfeit of cafes that can't actually make a profit because it actually is in
Mm,
fact apparently not that easy to operate a successful cafe, and it actually still involves a lot of work. It's just a different kind of slog. But
mm.
that was literally the reaction to the terrible working environment in Korea, is that people started opening cafes instead.
It's dreadful. It is
Yeah.
absolutely horrific for sure.
It's
Um,
changing. The younger generations are demanding work life balance. So
mm,
I think it is apparently, according to my Korean friends, it is changing. But in some, depends on your company, right? Like some
Mm.
companies are still stuck in the old ways. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's slowly. I think the only one that actually works in Japan, even for modern Japan, and Yuki says they end up getting way more work done. Is anytime you have a Japanese boss that's been trained in California. Her last boss was
right,
actually in California beforehand. He came back to Japan and he was they okay. First and foremost, way more work was done. Okay, he was finished at 5 o'clock. Around 5 o'clock, that's when he was starting to finish up, and he was done by half five. Okay, and
right,
yet my wife got more work done because it was all hands on deck. Between 9 o'clock all the way up to half five, there was no pissing about. It was all hands on deck. And somehow there was way more work done. Okay.
right.
However, her new boss right now, who's trained in Tokyo, and as you literally said there, the old ways of the 80s,
Yeah,
oh my God, he just drags and drags. And there's so much pissing around. Like, there's so many
yeah.
situations where people just go out in the back and just start smoking, because
Oh,
that's how they did things back. And it's so time
yeah,
consuming. There's so many habits
yeah,
of the old system, which is so time consuming. And it ends up they don't finish work until about 10, 11 o'clock if they're lucky, And
yeah,
yet, my wife has less work done. Like, how is this possible if work drags on, that less work is done? And she constantly feels exhausted. She always feels
yeah,
exhausted. Where, weirdly enough, she always felt energized. When she was working with the old boss, energy, energy, energy. There was always energy
yeah.
pumping. Like, it makes no sense what's going on. But could easily bitch about it all day for sure.
Well, so actually, that's a good point. We can transition to
Mm,
you know lies about medieval history. So, someone a historian on Instagram recently. I don't know, actually. I don't know if he recently published it. I recently saw this video
mm,
where he disputes the idea that medieval people worked like dogs.
okay.
And it's a short video, and of course, a lot of people, especially in countries like America, don't want to hear that their medieval
Mm,
ancestors actually had a better work life than they do. But
yeah.
the reality is that the Industrial Revolution, created a dreadfully um, uh, uh, life sucking work work life, right? Where you're working 12 hours a day because of the factory shifts, 7 days a week, where you might get Sunday off or part of Sunday off, but also
Mm,
maybe not. And it actually increased the amount of work that people do.
mm.
And as he pointed out, in the Middle Ages, there were 180 holy days in Europe because
Yes.
of Christianity. And on those days, you didn't work. If you were involved in agriculture and you had animals, you
Mm,
took care of the animals enough that they didn't suffer, but you
mm.
didn't do a full day's work on a holy day.
Yeah.
And they took big long breaks in the middle of the day, like the
Mm,
equivalent of the siesta, 2 to 3 hour lunch, where everyone would sit down, they would socialize, they would play games, they would play instruments, play music, sing songs, dance, enjoy a nice relaxed lunch. Like, how many people now take a 2 to 3 hour lunch in the middle of their workday where they get to have fun?
mm,
And it's hard for modern people to imagine that in certain ways, and God knows not in all ways. I'm not saying that the Middle Ages was a utopia. It was not. Don't mean that. I'm not saying that.
mm.
Talking specifically about work culture.
Yeah.
Um, it was just a different attitude towards labor and
Mm,
towards productivity, and it was a much
yeah.
more relaxed one.
Yeah, it's kind of getting into the weird, terrifying thoughts now, because of the fact that in Viking Age Ireland, when you're switching, or even Viking, actually, a better example would be Viking Age France up in Normandy. When the Normans take over and they bring in slavery into that area, and then going into the High Middle Ages when they switched over to serfdom, like
Mm,
what's the massive differences going from slavery to serfdom? Were people being treated better? And then it's a
right.
case of, well, are they treated better than us today?
Yeah.
You're starting to put really terrifying thoughts into our minds.
Yeah, and it's yes, yes. Obviously, there were many downsides to medieval life, and I would never,
Mm,
ever, ever say otherwise. But
Yeah.
there were certainly certain upsides, and maybe there were things. Maybe we can. I don't know, Philip. Maybe we can take the good aspects of medieval life and reincorporate those into our modern world, and maybe come
Mm.
up with some kind of nice harmony of the benefits of modern technology and human progress, plus the good ideas, the healthy approaches to living and work-life balance of the medieval world, and maybe combine those into something better than what we currently have. I don't know. Just thinking aloud here.
Mm. Oh, what did you not get
Hmm?
from my channel? YouTube is being stupid.
Yes,
The announcement you were live did not go out. Yeah, YouTube has been like that for
yes,
quite some
I
time
am.
now.
Yes,
Hello, Philip and
I am.
Rachel
Hold on a
in.
minute. Hold on a minute. Sorry. I've got to explain something to Ryan. Yes, yes, I am. It's fine. It's supposed to be. That is what is supposed to be happening. That is correct. It's on the same channel. There should be two different live streams. One should be horizontal. One should be vertical.
Mm.
Yes. 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 Okay. Sorry for the apparently. Okay. So everyone, if the restream software that I use to be able to live stream to multiple channels, multiple platforms, in fact, now offers an option whereby I can both stream
Mm.
horizontally and stream vertically. Unfortunately, on the horizontal one, you're now going to get sides of the that might not be so great. I don't know. Oh, it's blue. Okay. But if you're on the vertical one, you get just the vertical screen. But yes, there are currently coming from the Creative Contessa on YouTube two live streams exactly the same.
Mm.
So if you got two notifications, that was correct. You're okay. We're
Yeah.
having both of them at the same time. It's all good. Yes. Sorry, we were getting. Apparently, I missed some comments that people were concerned. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, yeah, both. I'm getting both. We're getting both. It's all good, everyone. Sorry, my moderator was very worried. Apologize for that. Sorry. Medieval life had no school nights. Well, that's
Yeah.
not true. That's not true. It definitely had school nights.
Oh.
I mean, what is a school night, right? Like, what is school night versus weekend? I guess if that's what you mean. Um, versus people weren't educated, because that's a myth about the Middle Ages too, that
Oh
everyone
yeah.
was illiterate until the Enlightenment. That's bullshit.
Mm.
And the
Yeah.
later you get in the Middle Ages, the greater the rates of literacy. And in specific places and times in medieval Europe, the rates of literacy are actually shockingly high.
Yeah.
So, by the 15th century, many peasants are literate. They might
Mm.
not be scriviate, they might not be able to actually write, but they can
Mm.
read, because those are two different skills. I know it's hard to believe, but those are actually two different skill sets. So
Mm.
there were plenty of people in the 15th century who could read in the Italies, for instance, but they couldn't necessarily write, but they could absolutely read because they
Mm.
needed to keep the books for their farms. So,
Yeah.
you learn to read when you have to do that. Were they debating great humanistic topics? Probably not, most people. But anyway. Okay, did I miss any questions? Did we miss any
I think a
questions?
few of them was from me, all right. When it comes down to 16th century music, Kevin asked me a question there. I'm completely
Oh,
ignorant to 16th century music, especially
I'm not.
what's the
I can answer
similarities
any
between.
questions about what was the question?
It was
Actually, one
basically
of my
asking
areas of
what's the
expertise.
similarities between. Let me actually see
Mhm.
that one. I think it's. Oh, Phil, I found. One second, I'll jump up to the original one. I was wondering if it might be able to look into the disconnection between Ireland and mainland Europe in the 16th century regarding music. So I'm assuming
Ah,
what was similar and what was different between
yeah.
music in
Okay.
Ireland and Scotland. Sorry, Ireland and mainland Europe in the 16th century, which is not my field of expertise. But you seem
Yes.
to want to answer that
It's
one.
no one's field of expertise because,
Mm.
unfortunately, as far as I'm aware, and I've talked to many, because, early music and dance is one of my specialties, and I have yet to see a source that actually provides information about music in Ireland in the 16th century that is Irish music. So
Mm.
we have no sources for it. No music, no sheet music has survived. No musical
Mm.
notation has survived. We know nothing about it. What we do know is that most of what people consider traditional Irish music is like invented, written, created fresh, and not based on some prior tradition in the last 200 years. So
Mm,
We know the kinds of instruments that they have because those are mentioned in chronicles. The harp, for instance, is
mm,
mentioned in lots of chronicles from the 16th century. Um, you know, we know that they also had access to the same kinds of instruments that they had in England, in Scotland, in mainland Europe. Yes,
Frozen for some reason.
mm.
I'm frozen.
Yep.
Am I frozen for you, Philip? Am I frozen for
Not
anyone else?
for me. You seem to be grand on my side for the time being.
Handsome,
My
could you
side,
bring me my kerchief, a kerchief, please? You might have to find them because I laundered them yesterday and then we didn't hang them. Anyway, so yeah, so we actually don't know much, and by we I mean like the musicology community, the people who actually study the history of music. We don't
mm,
actually know very much about it, so we can't say whether there actually was a disconnect
yeah.
between Europe and Ireland.
But
And in
given,
fact, there might not have
well,
been.
yeah,
There
you see,
might.
this is what I'm going to say now is because bagpipes originate from mainland Europe, and by
Oh
the
yeah,
16th century, we have bagpipes on battlefields in Ireland.
yep,
We also have the tune "Follow Me Up to Carlo." I'm just quickly typing in "Follow Me Up to Carlo" to see what fragments we actually have of it, because I know the modern day song "Follow Me Up to Carlo" is based on the original "Follow Me Up to Carlo" in 1580, because I'm trying to see what they base it on to then
right. But yeah,
recreate the
I
because I
don't.
know I think it's
As
actually
far
the
as
rhythm. Go on.
yeah, as far as I know, the notation hasn't survived. So
Yeah.
there's no, and the theories I've read from musicologists is that the current tune is not, does not reflect,
Yeah.
the past 16th century styles. So I
Mm.
don't, that could be a case of the song has survived, but it got reset
Yeah.
or it got changed. Things get recycled all the time. Um,
Mm. Because
I, I never, I never ever trust that anything that is traditional equals medieval. Yes.
yeah.
Your vertical is off.
My vertical is off entirely. That's
It's
awesome.
gone. It went away. The horizontal is still going.
Okay, hold on a minute. Let me see what's going on. Okay, I'm just going to switch. It won't let me switch. Great. So the vertical is gone. The horizontal is still going.
Mm.
That's unfortunate. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Let
Uh,
me let me let me do the old trick. I'll be right back. Hang tight, everyone. Hang tight.
oh right, I see. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I'm still live on my side. I thought I have no clue what's going on at this point. I thought it would have ended the whole thing. I have no clue. Elite of Blue, oh wow, Phil. Looks like Queen Elizabeth ordered hanging. What do you mean harpist? What do you mean by that one? Just Google actively gym and then go back to the books. What books is that, Billy? Vertically is good. Just Rachel wasn't. I don't know. All I know is that I've got two settings on my side, which is portrait and landscape, and seems to be working grand. So I don't know. Like, is it working on the phones? I never tested. I didn't realize we were going to have portrait and landscape going at the same time. So I didn't know. And is it still live on Rachel's one? All right, still live on Rachel's one. My vertical good. Rachel wasn't. Oh yeah. Our vertical is frozen. Hmm. The barber traditions. No, it's not a castle. that becomes that was originally that's Cashel there, and what was it called? It was originally the fortification for the Oenachta, the kings of Munster down south. Well, the equivalent of a baron. I think Rachel's trying to fix whatever was going on. Yeah, is she offline? Is offline. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on that side. Yeah, I think Rachel's getting up and working again.
Okay, so we started the wrong stream. Oh well.
Oh, you did?
We did. We started next week's stream, not this week's stream. Oh well.
Ah,
Oh my
okay.
God. Okay, yeah, that's fun. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me do the thing. Yeah, okay. Oh, the joys. Well, they should both be back, hopefully. Ryan, let me know if the vertical's back or not. Oh, I love technology. It's totally why I do this. It's why we do this. Yeah. Okay. Well, welcome back, everyone.
I'll just finish explaining that one. Anyway,
Yeah, go ahead.
this
Yeah.
is Cashel. So the Cashel started up in the 5th century. Well, there may have been fortification there beforehand, but it's interesting that the word Cashel actually originates from Latin. So it's believed that this may have been based off Roman fortifications in the 5th century, and then it kind of evolved from there. And it was mostly dominated by the Oenachta, and the Oenachta were the kings in the south of Ireland, but it's kind of using the word Ri Mumu, which mostly applies that they were pretty much the dominant faction down in the south of Ireland, but they still may have just paid tribute to the and recognised the Enel as their over kings of Ireland at the time. So that's quite interesting in itself. And then by the time we get up to the 12th century, Cashel ends up going under, was it Murtucky Breen takes over Cashel. And to spite the Oenachta, who at this point are now referred to as the McCarthy clan, despite them, because this is where it was their ancestral home, he gave this to the papacy. So this became papacy property. So this went from being a fort to a monastic settlement. So that's why you have these um, big, massive church and cathedral and all that stuff being built here, is because it was under the papacy's control until around the 16th century, where we had the Reformation, and then Henry VIII ordered his Tudor troops to come in here and actually set fire to it, which is a massive disaster to us because the annals of Cashel and the annals of Ulster and loads, pretty much all the literature in the south of Ireland was here at the time during the Reformation. So Tudor forces came in here, and that's why everything here is destroyed. They burned it down, destroying all the literature as well.
Let me see your phone.
The joys of it.
Okay, we may have to restart because the vertical stream on my end is gone, and as we all know, that's the one that actually gets all the views. Let me see. You're right. That's the vertical. Let me see. Anyway, what were you talking about? How did we get from music to that? I'm curious.
Oh, people are asking about my background.
Oh.
Sadly, Amazon is the easiest place to do it. That's cool.
Yeah. Is just out of curiosity, is anyone in the? You're right. There seems to be no vertical stream. There is no vertical stream. Okay. Philip, we're going to stop this one and we're going to go back to the one I originally set up for today.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully that will give us fewer problems. And I will be writing to Restream that it was very problematic. Yeah, big fail. Okay, everyone. We'll be right back in the live stream that was actually scheduled for today, for May 1st, not the one that was scheduled for May 6th. Okay, everyone, see you in a moment.